trust of 125 crore people. In my opinion, it's the judiciary that is running the country today, along with the free press, the media that there is, with channels such as yours. And this is where I would call it a full stop. And even if people don't want to call it a full stop, and will continue to throw barbs at the judiciary, saying that the Collegium system is bad, this, that, and the other, they're not going to be able to succeed. The Supreme Court is way too powerful and way too integrated in itself that they're going to be able to create some sort of a faction or a fiction within the confines of the Supreme Court. I don't think so that is going to happen for that. A lot of attempts have been made in the past. I do not want to rehash them, but those attempts have been absolutely feeble and totally unsuccessful.
Right, Mr. Kothari, good morning. This is Nupur here. I was listening to what you were saying, and it seemed very interesting as you were pointing out that her name was recommended by the Collegium system, and that's been a point of contention. But, as you pointed out, one would wonder why some judge who's been essentially gone through the Collegium system, why would someone come up with a petition like that? And so what you said was extremely interesting in that sense.
Good morning, Nupur. This is an orchestrated attempt. I do not view any of those situations or any of those barbs that have been taking place against the Supreme Court and against the judiciary as such, and more so against the Collegium systems in the past couple of weeks, or should I say months. First by the law minister, then by the Vice President of India, then by some senior lawyers, and then again by the law minister, then again by the Vice President of India, then again this petition in between, where Sanjay Kishan Kaul had to literally issue a diktat that if you do not pass on the recommendation, if you do not approve our recommendations, then we'll do it on our own. So only then that the center had to crumble down to that, to bow down to the Supreme Court, which I think everybody in this country needs to bow down, because the Supreme Court is the final arbiter of the Constitution, and whatever it says under Article 141 is the rule of law. So, and has a binding force. So it's as simple as that. And these attempts, these feeble, bogus, third-rate attempts at trying to thwart the administration of justice, and saying that just because somebody has a political view should not be appointed as a judge. And I hope it's not misogyny that it's been directed at somebody because that person happens to be a woman. Right. People in the past who have been appointed as the Delhi High Court judges have also had political affiliations or political slants. People in Bombay High Court do. For all that all that I know, that I've been practicing since 25 to 30 years across the globe, that I've practiced in the United States, in England, and here. I cannot tell you, how many slants do judges have? They are human beings at the end of the day. But I don't think that should come in the way of the dispensation of justice. Nobody is going to say, because you're a BJP lover, I'm going to vote in favor of, or I'm going to pass a judgment in your favor. How absurd is that, or how absurd an apprehension is that? So these apprehensions, I would not say are misconceived, but are a deliberate attempt to put spokes in the wheel of the smooth functioning of the judiciary.
Absolutely.
Especially the Supreme Court.
Absolutely. As you're pointing out, Mr. Kothari, obviously, every individual will have a slant, so to say. Just hold your thoughts for a minute. I think what we are seeing right now is what's taking place in the courts. But I wanted to come back to you, Mr. Kothari, on the fact that, in this particular petition that has been filed, I think a mention has been made of a case which is known as the Kumar Padma Prasad versus the Union of India in 1992. For viewers who are just joining us, explain to us what that was. And we're given to understand that at that point, the Supreme Court had passed an interim order restraining the appointee from taking oath. So just for, our viewers, give us a sense of what that was. Pictures on your screen are of what's happening in the Madras High Court.
You can call me Swapnil, Nupur, no problem at all with that. And let me tell you, Nupur, that case was unique in itself. If there was an order that was a restraining order for the time being, I do not see that precedent should be followed here. For the simple reason that this is a very open and shut case. This case, or rather this petition, has to be viewed in the surrounding circumstances, or should I say the surround sound. Around this petition is very clear.
Swapnil, I'm just going to have to interrupt you there. I'll come back to you in just a bit. Let's go across to what's happening in the Madras High Court even as we speak.
Bagu Kudumbi Balaji, 3, Kandasamy Kulandivelu Ramakrishnan, 4, Srimati Ramachandran Kalimadi, and 5, Srimati K. Govindarajan Tilagavadi to be additional judges of the Madras High Court in that order of seniority for a period of 2 years with effect from the date they assume charge of their respective offices. Signed, Rajendra Kausif, Additional Secretary to the Government of India. I read the authorization given by the Honorable the Governor of Tamil Nadu. Under Article 219 of the Constitution of India, I, R.N. Ravi, Governor of Tamil Nadu, hereby authorize you, Mr. Justice T. Raja, Acting Chief Justice of Madras High Court, to administer oath of office in the appropriate form to the following advocates/judicial officers who have been appointed as additional judges of the Madras High Court in that order of seniority. 1. Srimati Lakshmana Chandra Victoria Gauri, Advocate. 2. Sri Pillaipakkam Bagu Kudumbi Balaji, Advocate. 3. Sri Kandasamy Kuladevelu Ramakrishnan, Advocate. 4. Srimati Ramachandran Kalimadi, Judicial Officer. 5. Srimati K. Govindarajan Tilakvadi, Judicial Officer. Signed R.N. Ravi. Now I read the warrant of appointment of Tirumati Lakshmana Chandra Victoria Gauri. By virtue of the power vested in me by Class 1 of Article 224 of Constitution of India, I, Draupadi Murmu, President of India, do hereby appoint Srimati Lakshmana Chandra Victoria Gauri to be an additional judge of the Madras High Court for a period of 2 years with effect from the date she assumes charge of her office. Given at Rashtrapati Bhavan, New Delhi, this 5th day of February in the year 2023, 16th Magha 1944 Saga, in the 74th year of the Republic of India, signed President of India. I request Tirumati Lakshmana Chandra Victoria Gauri to take oath of office.
I, Lakshmana Chandra Victoria Gauri,
having been appointed as additional judge of the High Court of Madras,
having been appointed as additional judge of the High Court of Madras,
do swear in the name of God
do swear in the name of God
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor,
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor,
affection or ill will,
and that
I will uphold the Constitution and the laws.
I will uphold the Constitution and the laws.
There you go. Sit down and do that. Madam? Good.
Thank you, my lord. Now I read the warrant of appointment of Thiru Pillaipakkam Bagu Kudumbi Balaji. By virtue of power vested in me by Class 1 of Article 224 of Constitution of India, I, Draupadi Murmu, President of India, do hereby appoint Sri Pillaipakkam Bagu Kudumbi Balaji to be an additional judge of the Madras High Court for a period of 2 years with effect from the date he assumes charge of his office, given at Rashtrapati Bhavan, New Delhi, this 5th day of February in the year 2023, 16th Magha 1944 Saga, in the 74th year of the Republic of India, signed President of India. I request Thiru Pillaipakkam Bagu Kudumbi Balaji to take oath of office.
I, Pillaipakkam Bahukutumbi Balaji,
having been appointed as additional judge of the High Court of Madras,
having been appointed as additional judge of the High Court of Madras,
do swear in the name of God
do swear in the name of God
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India as by law established,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India,
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment
that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my ability, knowledge and judgment
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
perform the duties of my office without fear or favor, affection or ill will,
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the laws.
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the laws.
Be relaxed.
All the best, brother. Thank you.
All right, so Victoria Gauri over there taking oath as the additional judge of the Madras High Court. We've also, I think, got Rhythm Anand Bhardwaj now joining us. Rhythm, good morning. Rhythm, what we are given to understand is the court seems to say that we are going to perhaps stick by the Collegium system, and she's been appointed through the proper channels. Give us more details in terms of what you are learning about that.
As the hearing continues before in the Supreme Court has questioned this particular petition before them that is saying Victoria Gauri should not have been appointed as additional judge. However, Judge Victoria Gauri, who's now been appointed as a judge in the Madras High Court, the oath has been administered. There were questions being raised on the eligibility. Before lawyers such as Raju Ramachandran and Prashant Bhushan tried to say that there were certain speeches made by her that were not appropriate. They also said there may be a political view that she has, to which the judges said, in fact, Justice Sanjeev Khanna said, there have been instances even earlier of people with political backgrounds being appointed. He also said that the material on the speeches from 2018 that has been put before the Collegium has gone through it, and then this particular result has come. Justice Gawai also said, I also have a political background before joining the court as a judge, and I have been a judge for 20 years. The Supreme Court also said it cannot direct the Collegium to reconsider its recommendations that are related to now Judge Victoria Gauri. The court did many things against them. So Supreme Court has now,
Right.
I would say, breaking news is coming, and the Supreme Court says they are not entertaining this petition.
So essentially, right now, Rhythm, what we understand is that the Supreme Court won't be entertaining this writ petition. And what we are learning is that Justice Gawai has said that we can't direct the Collegium to reconsider. And also, the crux of this, Rhythm, what we understand is that the Supreme Court said that obviously the Collegium has gone through all of that that needs to be gone through. So in that sense, the Collegium must already be aware of her slant, if any.
Absolutely, Nupur. And that is the reason why they have said that we've seen a petition. There are certain developments that have taken place, and they're going to be looking into it after this is now said that we are going to be entertaining the petition. I'm just waiting for the final words to come, whether this will be dismissed or not. But as of now, it does seem that the petition has been dismissed as we are speaking. And, even if this happens, the fact of the matter is the Collegium, before it goes and gives out any direction, goes into details with each judge. So as this was stated, now finally the plea and the hearing could get complete. The Supreme Court is now saying that we are not going to be entertaining this particular petition.
All right, so that's the breaking news that we have for you right now on Republic TV. The Supreme Court has said that they will not be entertaining this petition. It dismisses the petition challenging Victoria Gauri's appointment as a Madras High Court judge. To remember that even as Victoria Gauri, now Judge Victoria Gauri, was taking oath of office in the Madras High Court, there was a petition that had challenged her appointment in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court at this moment, of course, dismissing that petition. And these are the salient points of what the court has said. The Supreme Court says that the Supreme Court relies heavily on the Collegium process, and also going on to say that they can't direct the Collegium to reconsider. I think all right, we don't have rhythm yet, but we're going to go back to her in just a bit. But essentially, the points that are coming out of this is just to tell our viewers about the proceedings that took place. We are told that the Supreme Court said that there is a difference between eligibility and sustainability. Regarding sustainability, the court cannot go into it since the process will become unworkable. The court should not get into sustainability. Otherwise, the whole process will become haywire. And I'm going to go across to Rhythm on this one now. Rhythm, essentially, what we are picking up from this is the fact that the court has said that the Collegium system is working, and that is through which system she has come forward. So we can't be questioning all of that.
Absolutely. And let's also tell you, Nupur, that Justice Gawai, while hearing this petition, also said she's being appointed as an additional judge. If she's not true to her oath, it won't be made permanent. It will result in showing lack of respect to the Collegium. Keeping all this in mind, the Supreme Court dismissed the writ petition and said, we aren't inclined to hear the plea. The reasons will also be following. So very, very clearly, Justice Gauri has now been appointed as additional judge in the Madras High Court. The court has very clearly said we've taken into consideration the points that have been put before us, whether it's on any partnership or whether it is on her having made certain speeches. Keeping in mind all that had been said, Justice Gawai said, even I had a political background, it didn't come the way. We cannot direct the Collegium to reconsider. Many cases with judges are not made permanent, and that could happen here. There are two things that follow out of this. This is going to be seen as a big setback to the lobby that was trying to have Justice Gauri not be appointed as an additional judge in the Madras High Court. The attempt to tarnish a judge's name on the basis of certain political leanings or political words that she must have said have been heard by the Supreme Court and have dismissed the
Absolutely. Absolutely, Rhythm. As you're pointing out, of course, the Supreme Court over there very, very clearly saying that they're not going to intervene in something like this, and the petition has been set aside. Rhythm Anand Bhardwaj joining us. Thank you for joining us. So that's the latest that we are getting in terms of the appointment of Judge Gauri.
Opposition leaders who are protesting at this point in time. Earlier, this was a scheduled meeting of the opposition leader. They are demanding the discussion on the Adani issue. That is something, the line which has been taken by the opposition leaders. Whereas the government is of the view, government stand is that they want the presidential speech to be happen, and after that, the discussion can happen in the 0 hour. The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the National Capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure. Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the National Capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu.
Good morning and thank you very much for staying with us on Live and Breaking. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. Going back to the big story that we are tracking right now, the Supreme Court has dismissed the petition challenging Victoria Gowrie's appointment as a Madras High Court judge. In fact, the Supreme Court has said that it will not be entertaining this writ petition, going on to add that the Supreme Court relies heavily on the Collegium process, and the court also saying that they believe that the judge would have gone through the Collegium process. I think we've got Rhythm with us still on this, our legal editor. Rhythm, can you give us the salient points of what happened really in court? We are given to understand that the court, in not mincing any words, said that this is a judge who has gone through the Collegium process and hence it cannot be questioned. Just to tell our viewers, what we are given to understand is at this point that the Supreme Court said that it cannot question sustainability is something that the court cannot go into, and it cannot question it. Rhythm, I think, is with us now. Rhythm, give us a general sense of what really happened inside court. What we're given to understand is that the Supreme Court said that we rely very heavily on the Collegium process, and this particular judge would have passed all the tests before she was recommended by the Collegium.
Well, absolutely. As the Supreme Court has gone into this, the Supreme Court has dismissed the petition before them. The petition there had stated that we are challenging Justice Victoria Gowrie's appointment as additional judge of the Madras High Court. As the Supreme Court dismissed the petition, they also said that just because a person may have political leanings, the Collegium cannot reconsider what it has already stated. The Supreme Court said we cannot direct the Collegium to reconsider. Justice Gowrie gave his own example and said, even I have a political background, but it's not come in the way. I have been a judge in the Supreme Court since the past 20 years. The Supreme Court therefore also explained to the petitioners and the lobby that was present before them, there's a difference between eligibility and suitability. The court said they would not go into suitability or the whole process would become haywire. Justice Sanjeev Khanna also gave instances of persons with political background being appointed. He says the materials are from speeches of 2018 and the Collegium must have gone through them. Keeping all this in mind, the Supreme Court said it will not direct the Collegium to reconsider its recommendation relating to the now appointed additional judge of the Madras High Court, Victoria Gowrie, and the court has therefore said there are many instances where additional judges have not been made permanent if their performance is not satisfactory.
Now, Rhythm, just a word from you on, the dramatic developments that we saw today. On the one side, the judge was taking oath. On the other side, the Supreme Court was hearing this petition that was filed. So, just a word on how dramatic this was.
Well, it's a rare case, absolutely, Nupur, that we are seeing the court first time that will sit early in the morning, because 10:35 was the time when the oath could be administered to her. Then later shifted the bench to court number 7, which heard the matter. And after hearing Raju Ramachandran, Prashant Bhushan was also present inside the court, and Anand Grover was there. The court heard them and then finally stated that no, we are dismissing this petition. They were saying that the petitioners asked the Supreme Court to take a judicial note. However, the court said candidature has already passed the Collegium's test, and therefore they've said we're not going to be going today and putting a stop to her being appointed as additional judge. We've not seen this earlier, but we've also seen now a growing trend amongst a lobby to try and disrupt the procedure that has been set for decades of Collegium and of appointment of judges in the top court of the country.
Right, and Rhythm, very interesting over there where Justice Gawai said, I also had political affiliations, doesn't mean anything. Thank you very much, Rhythm, for the moment. I think we will be coming back to you for more news related to the courts in just a bit. All right, so continuing on the big story that we have been tracking at the moment, of course, it does appear that the Supreme Court was very, very clear. It has dismissed taking up the plea, essentially saying that the petition against, we are not inclined to entertain this writ petition. Do remember that the Supreme Court said that this is something that we cannot consider. Also, very pointed judgment over there, pointed observations rather, saying that we can't direct the Collegium to reconsider many cases where judges aren't made permanent. Now, it was, of course, saying that the Collegium tracks the appointments of these judges, and the Collegium would be aware of, whether she had a political slant or not. Tell our viewers in terms of what really happened inside the court. We are learning that the Supreme Court said that there is a difference between eligibility and suitability. Regarding suitability, the court cannot go into it since the process will then become unworkable. I think we've got Swapnil Kothari back with us on the phone line. Swapnil, just coming back to you, we were talking about this just a while earlier, Swapnil, where we were mentioning the fact that she did go through the Collegium process, and that's the view of the court as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the Supreme Court is absolutely right in drawing a distinction between eligibility and suitability. The Supreme Court has to go by the Constitution. The Constitution prescribes eligible criteria: 35 years of age, 10 years of practice in the High Court or lower court, both put together, citizen of India. And then you have the RAW and the IB investigating the background of the judge as to, whether the person is does not have any questionable affiliation somewhere abroad or anything of that sort, or has been involved with something which is nefarious. And once all of those things are checked in the checkbox, in the tick box, that's all it takes. Now to say that somebody like Narendra Modi, somebody like BJP, somebody always speaks in favor of BJP, by that notion, I think the Republic TV should not be allowed to, be beamed at all, because most of the time it talks about BJP, but it's about to have an opinion. There's nothing wrong in having one, and it's very steadfast on its opinion. It's very firm. It's not about BJP that Republic TV is talking about. It's about a solidity, character, integrity, and a great Prime Minister. That's what it's talking about. So likewise, if Victoria Gowri has an affiliation or a slant towards a particular party,
right,
that in no way is going to get in dispensation of justice. And to be very fair, Republic TV pulls up BJP whenever it seems to be straying away from the constitutional parameters or straying away from its party duty. So what is wrong?
Right, absolutely. Swapnil, thank you for joining us on that one. So as we are pointing out, of course, the court has in no uncertain terms said that it relies heavily on the Collegium process. Justice Gawai also going on to say that I also have a political background. Before joining the court as a judge, I have been a judge for 20 years and my political background has not come in my way. The Supreme Court then saying that it cannot direct the Collegium to reconsider its recommendation relating to Victoria Gowri, and saying that there have been many instances where additional judge was not made it permanent when the performance was not satisfactory. So very dramatic developments that took place today. Of course, on the one side, Justice Gauri, Judge Gauri was taking an oath, and on the other side, her appointment by the Collegium was being questioned inside the Supreme Court. In fact, the Supreme Court had to rearrange the timing of the court where it would listen to this petition, but the court finally dismissing the plea, saying that they rely on the Collegium process, and that's obviously something that cannot be questioned. Well, going to another big story that we're tracking this morning, the Supreme Court has also dismissed a plea of journalist Rana Ayyub challenging summons by the Ghaziabad Special Court in a money laundering case. A bench of justices J.B. Padriwala as well as V. Ramasubramaniam allowed Ayyub to raise the issue of jurisdiction before a trial court, saying that it is a question of evidence. Let's go across to Rhythm. She has more details on this. Yes, Rhythm, tell us more of what happened.
Okay, let me absolutely look at a big setback in the country has no mistake with the money laundering charges that had been put against would continue. The Supreme Court went into great details, and they stated when they refused to excite the proceedings initiated against Rana Ayyub by the special court, that there were certain things that had been stated against her. In fact, there was an argument made that she had been arrested, etc. But the Supreme Court said that under the PMLA section, any 6 activities that are carried out of concealment, possession, acquisition, use, projecting an untainted property, claiming is untainted property, is said to have taken place. Now, Navi Mumbai, where the bank account of Rana Ayyub was allegedly located, is the destination where the proceeds of crime had reached. The question is whether any of the 6 activities had taken place, which has to be decided based on evidence. Therefore, they leave it open to the court. Remember, she came under scanner by the Federal Agency for allegedly cheating the public by misappropriating charitable donations worth 2.6 times more, and also for receiving overseas donations without registration of the FCRA Act 2010. Now, the investigation was initiated against her on the strength of an FIR registered in 2021 in Ghaziabad, after which the EC saw that there were several misappropriations and cheating arguments that had been put against her. A big setback to her as the Supreme Court says the investigation will continue.
Right, absolutely. So the Supreme Court very, very clear, saying that these investigations will continue. Also, Rhythm, what we are given to understand is that the judges said that she needs to raise this jurisdiction issue before a trial court, and it's all based on evidence.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the reason why has refused to interfere in this matter, because an investigating agency and an they have the right to continue with an investigation without any strictures from a top court to prejudice them. Keeping a very simple basis in mind, the Supreme Court has said that they are resisting to interfere in this particular plea. It's a big setback to Rana Ayyub, who even tried to move the top.
Right. So Rhythm, in a sense, a setback for Rana Ayyub. We're going to cut across right now to the Parliament to see what's happening there.
At 12 noon today,
All right, so the Rajya Sabha also over there being adjourned right now. Do remember that the Lok Sabha, just to tell our viewers, was adjourned a short while ago. The Lok Sabha, of course, another record really of sorts, was adjourned within just about 4 minutes of convening. The Rajya Sabha also now being adjourned. Both houses of parliament have been rocked by the opposition not allowing for any business to be transacted over the Hindenburg report on Adani. So the Adani storm, of course, continuing to rock both houses of parliament. Now, the opposition parties, of course, have not allowed business to be transacted in both houses of parliament. They have put forward very clear demands before the government. One of them, of course, is that there should be a JPC that should be found to investigate the allegations that Hindenburg has made against the Adani enterprises. Also, the second part of it is that if the JPC is not formed, want a court-monitored probe, monitored by none other than the Supreme Court, in the allegations that have been made. Now, the government, of course, has said that there are proper mechanisms in place that are looking into what the allegations have been from the short seller Hindenburg, and that they are willing to discuss any issue, but they need for the opposition to respect traditions of both houses of parliament. Also going on to say that they need to be present for the motion of thanks to the president's speech. So that's where the deadlock has been. Today, of course, again, despite several rounds of talks between the opposition parties and the government, we are seeing the storm continuing. Both houses of parliament adjourned at the moment. The Lok Sabha, of course, had barely just convened this morning at about 11, when within 4 minutes or so, it was adjourned once again. The Rajya Sabha also being adjourned very, very quickly. Just to tell our viewers that at this point in time, of course, the opposition has been firm in terms of what it wants. Let's go across to Piyush Mishra, who's been tracking this for us. Piyush, as far as the opposition is concerned, you know, they are continuing to raise this issue in both houses of parliament. But the other side of it also is, Piyush, that, you know, this does not allow for any sort of debate really to take place for, you know, as the opposition says, people of the country want to know. But
पार्टी की केंद्र सरकार तानाशाही से, बेईमानी से, गुंडागर्दी से एमसीडी में सरकार आम आदमी पार्टी की नहीं बनने दे रही।
ये दूसरी बार रहा जब सदन को चलने नहीं दिया गया, वहां पर जो वोटिंग थी उसको पूरा नहीं होने दिया। किस तरीके से देखते हैं? बीजेपी तो ये कह रही है कि आम आदमी पार्टी है वो लगातार हमारे पार्षदों को खरीदने की कोशिश कर रही है।
तो अब भारतीय जनता पार्टी का डर सामने आ रहा है। वो तो कह रहे थे कि आम आदमी पार्टी डर रही है, मगर शायद देश के इतिहास में पहली बार हो रहा है कि दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी पार्टी दुनिया की सबसे छोटी और नई पार्टी से डर गई है कि आम आदमी पार्टी के अंदर उनके पार्षद जाने वाले हैं। ये तो बड़ी शर्म की बात है और इसीलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी चुनाव नहीं होने दे रही, क्योंकि डर भारतीय जनता पार्टी को है कि उनके पार्षद अपनी पार्टी से नाराज होके कहीं आम आदमी पार्टी में ना आ जाए।
बिल्कुल, आज बीजेपी की तरफ से भी प्रोटेस्ट किया जा रहा है। उनके तरफ से भी लिखा गया उनके पोस्टर में कि आम आदमी पार्टी मेयर का चुनाव होने नहीं दे रही।
देखिए, ये तो सारे देश ने देखा है, कल के वीडियो सबके पास हैं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने दादागिरी की, गुंडागर्दी की, नारेबाजी की, और वो अकेले नारेबाजी कर रहे थे। आम आदमी पार्टी के पार्षद तो आराम से बैठे थे और उन्हीं की प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर ने हाउस को भंग कर दिया। उनके तो सांसद भी नहीं आए थे हाउस में। मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, गौतम गंभीर कहां थे? एक एक वोट की लड़ाई है, गौतम गंभीर नहीं थे, मनोज तिवारी नहीं थे, हंसराज हंस नहीं थे। इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब पहले से तय था कि आज जो था चुनाव नहीं होना था, इसीलिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट भी नहीं थे। पूरा षड्यंत्र है और मुझे लगता है कल सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ये सब कुछ एक्सपोज होगा। सारे सबूत हम कोर्ट के सामने रखेंगे।
आप बीजेपी के ऊपर आरोप लगा रहे, बीजेपी ये कह रही है कि आम आदमी पार्टी नहीं चाहती कि मेयर बने, उनको डर है कि कोई उनके बराबर में खड़ा ना हो जाए।
मेयर भारतीय जनता पार्टी जानती है कि आम आदमी पार्टी का बनेगा। उनकी प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर बार बार हाउस भंग कर रही है। उनकी प्रिसाइडिंग ऑफिसर उल्टी उल्टी बातें हाउस के अंदर कह रही है, उसके बावजूद भी आम आदमी के पार्षद नहीं भड़क रहे। अब तो वो डेस्परेट हो गए हैं। ये पूरी दिल्ली को दिख रहा है कि अपनी बेरोजगारी से बचने के लिए, क्योंकि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की दिल्ली इकाई बेरोजगार हो जाएगी, जो पैसे की कमाई होती थी वो बंद हो जाएगी। इस डर से जो है ये चुनाव नहीं हो रहे।
हमारे साथ बात कर रहे थे सौरभ भारद्वाज, जो कि साफ तौर पे कह रहे हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं बीजेपी ये नहीं चाहती है कि मेयर का चुनाव पूरा हो और मेयर चुना जाए। रिपब्लिक भारत के लिए लोमज झा।
चलेगी, ये तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, ये गुंडागर्दी नहीं चलेगी, ये तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, गुंडागर्दी नहीं रहेगी। भाजपा वालों शर्म करो, शर्म करो, शर्म करो, भाजपा वालों शर्म करो, शर्म करो, शर्म करो, शर्म नहीं तो डूब मरो, 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 संविधान की हत्या बंद करो, बंद करो, बंद करो, लोकतंत्र की हत्या बंद करो, बंद करो, बंद करो, संविधान की हत्या बंद करो।
Well, protests and counter-protests seem to be taking place in Delhi. This, of course, is over the issue of the election of the mayor. Do remember that it was the third consecutive time that the mayor had to be elected in the MCD house, but that did not take place. So the municipal house, in fact, failed to elect the mayor for the third time in a month after a ruckus erupted over the nominated members being allowed to vote in the election to the post. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party, of course, has threatened to go to court over it, and the BJP has hit the streets in protest. We have seen also the first two sessions of the municipal house that were held, I think, on the 24th of January, and one before that were also adjourned by the presiding officer without electing a mayor. Following the ruckus and the acrimonious exchanges that we have seen taking place between the members of the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. So that ruckus, in a sense, now taking place outside with protests happening. Let's go across to Anuj to understand what happened today. Anuj, of course, yesterday was a very acrimonious exchange that we saw between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. Today, of course, protesters hitting the streets.
Well, exactly. This is attack and the counter-attack what we are seeing in the national capital. It is BJP who is protesting against Aam Aadmi Party, and that's something what...
At this point in time, the BJP Karyakartas has hit the ground and they are protesting against the Aam Aadmi Party, and they are blaming Aam Aadmi Party that this is because of Aam Aadmi Party why the elections are not happening, rather the mayor elections are not happening. We have seen the ruckus yesterday also. It was the third time when mayor election was to happen, but we have seen what has happened in the civic center, what has happened in the house. So the elections did not happen and the house was adjourned, and finally the Bharatiya Janata Party Karyakartas are on the street. They are protesting at the ITO office of the Aam Aadmi Party. They are saying that this is Aam Aadmi Party who did not want to election to happen, and that's something what we are seeing at this point in time. On the other hand, let me tell you that Aam Aadmi Party vice versa is blaming the same. This is attack and the counter attack what we are seeing. So Aam Aadmi Party on the other hand is also all set to do the protest against BJP, whereas BJP is protesting Aam Aadmi Party. And that's something, the kind of uproar which was witnessed in the house also. So this is happening on the streets of the national capital. This is to see the matter has already reached the top court, that's the Supreme Court. We will see what exactly is going to come out from there. But on the other hand, these are the Karyakartas of both the parties who are protesting each other and blaming each other. There is a blame game which is happening. We have seen yesterday also this was press conference, and after that the counter attack press conference which was happened. This was Aam Aadmi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party attack and the counter attack what we are seeing at this point in time. We are reporting live on the story from the ground. Keep watching Republic TV. We will be right back after a short break. Stay tuned. The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the national capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure. Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the national capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out.
News is coming in. We are now learning that Balasaheb Thorat has stepped down as the legislative party leader of the Congress. Now this of course comes even as there were reports of some sort of skirmishes that were going on between him and the state unit president Nana Patole. We are given to understand that he resigned as the Maharashtra legislative party leader in a letter that he's written to Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president. Previously also, of course, Balasaheb Thorat have spoken about the fact that he feels humiliated in the manner in which the Congress party is working in Maharashtra. So differences between him and Nana Patole, who is the state unit president, of course, have not been new. They have been there, and the Congress party senior high command has been very aware of them. Nevertheless, a big setback for the Congress party in Maharashtra. We slip into a very short break. On the other side, we bring you more news, including politics that's continuing over the Adani issue as the opposition continues to protest.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the national capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police. The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
Opposition leaders who are protesting at this point in time. Earlier, this was a scheduled meeting of the opposition leader. They are demanding the discussion on the Adani issue. That is something, the line which has been taken by the opposition leaders. Whereas the government is of the view, government stand is that they want the presidential speech to be happen, and after that, the discussion can happen in the 0 hour.
Thanks for tuning in this Tuesday morning. We are live and breaking. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. We start with the showdown taking place in the national capital, where the Aam Aadmi Party as well as the BJP are staging a protest against over the Delhi mayor elections. So simultaneously, on one hand, the protest there being staged by the BJP, and on the other hand, the AAP also staging a counter protest outside the BJP office in the national capital. So this is in relation to the Delhi mayor elections. Remember, the election for the Delhi mayor was stalled for the third consecutive time. But those visuals coming in from the national capital at this point, where you can see the AAP workers completely up in arms, staging a protest against the BJP over the elections for the Delhi mayor in the national capital. Remember, the Aam Aadmi Party has also said that they would be moving the top court over what they say stalling of the procedure for the election of the Delhi mayor. All right, we have our executive editor for politics, Aishwarya Kapoor, joining us. Aishwarya, good morning. If you can take us through what is the latest that you're picking up in terms of the face-off between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party over the Delhi mayor elections.
Well, as far as the face-off between the BJP and the AAP is concerned, this has been an ongoing process and it will continue for a while. The Aam Aadmi Party says that the BJP has been misusing the power and then using the office of LG to hit back at them. This time around, similar allegations continue. They say that the kind of manipulation which is done by the BJP, and the counter to that, the BJP has said that there is zero manipulation. Only and only Arvind Kejriwal wants to hide behind these allegations and not perform. Whether it is formation of roads, whether it is basic necessity or more complex issues. That has always been the issue. That implementation and permission from the LG's office is something which Arvind Kejriwal, the government has not been able to access, and hence all the development projects are being kept in a bin.
Ishwara, just a follow-up question, if you can help us understand what exactly is the bone of contention here when we talk about the AAP staging a protest against the BJP over the Delhi mayor election. All right, we seem to have lost that connection with Aishwarya Kapoor, but continuously tracking all those updates coming in from the national capital, where you can see protests and counter-protests taking place by the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. All right, Right, tracking the big news break that came in on Monday, the latest that we are given to understand on the earthquake that shattered several parts of Turkey and Syria, where the death toll has now risen to more than 4,000. Latest update we are given to understand is that the first Indian C-17 flight with more than 50 NDRF search and rescue personnel, specially trained dog squads, drilling machines, relief material, medicines and other necessary equipments have reached Turkey. It's the second plane. We're given to understand that the second plane is still getting ready for departure, while the first batch dispatch of the necessary equipments for the assistance in terms of for the rescue operation has begun, as India has now sent aid to Turkey, which consists of 50 NDRF personnel as well as specially trained dog squads, drilling machines, relief material, medicines and other necessary utilities and equipment as well. We have our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor also joining us. Abhishek, if you can take us to the latest. The death toll, of course, unfortunately has risen to 4,000, but the relief and rescue operations still continue as we speak.
Well, yes, that's how it happens in the case of earthquakes of this scale, Samiksha. Remember, the last big earthquake that India has seen was way back in 2001 in Kutch in Gujarat, and that was that was also 7.7, and this is 7.8. But what is different is that the aftershocks that are coming out of the same scale, almost like a 7.6, 7.5, and then the last one being 6. That we saw earlier in the day. That, of course, leads to a lot of loss of life and property. Unfortunately, we are seeing the numbers creeping up. In this case, of the 4,000, 5,000 buildings that have been reduced to rubble, we are seeing about 10% of them are high-rises, which are classified as ground plus 3. So I think, in that sense, significant loss. We are looking at significant loss both in Turkey and Syria. But India, of course, up on its feet. We saw how Prime Minister, in the first couple of hours itself, made a statement that we stand with our brothers and sisters in these affected regions, and we are going to send in aid. And now we are seeing relief and rescue material flying out of the Hindon Air Base, the pictures of which we have seen panning out since morning. In fact, the Turkish ambassador has been quick to thank the Indian effort. We saw how our MOS in the Ministry of External Affairs was quick to go to the embassy and meet with the Turkish ambassador. We saw V. Muralidharan going to the embassy of Turkey in New Delhi and convey condolences and underscore the readiness that we are ready to send relief material. And now we are seeing, of course, the relief material that has now, in fact, landed in Turkey as we speak, because this was an overnight flight, a C-17 Globemaster, taking about 50 NDRF search and rescue personnel, and the dog squad, the canine squad that we have been talking about, plays a crucial role in sniffing out whatever survivors might be there and pull them out, help them pull them out from the debris. Drilling machines, relief material. Post-Gujarat earthquake, India has developed a certain expertise in terms of, and of course, after the 2006-2005 tsunami down south, India has developed a certain expertise in terms of handling of these kind of relief and rescue missions when it comes to natural calamities and disasters of this scale. So this is only the beginning, as has been suggested, that second plane is already getting ready. That's from the tweet of Dr. S. Jaishankar, and he has said that apart from solidarity in this challenging moment, we are going to continue to assist citizens of Turkey and Syria in this hour of tragedy that has struck these nations.
All right, Abhishek, thank you for taking us through all those details. So as Abhishek was telling us, the rescue relief operations are still underway as we speak. The first batch of the help assistance that's been rendered by India has arrived. It's the first Indian C-17 flight that has reached Turkey, carrying all the necessary equipments to provide all the essential help to Turkey.
3, 2, 1, lift off.
SpaceX successfully launched the Hispasat Amazonas Nexus mission satellite on Monday evening. This after the satellite launch was delayed on Sunday because of inclement weather. The satellite was launched at 8:32 p.m. from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida on Monday. In a matter of 8 minutes after liftoff, the Falcon 9's first stage landed on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean. It will provide a coverage for North America, the North and South Atlantic corridors, and the Greenland. According to Hispasat, a communication company based in Spain, the rocket reached a speed exceeding 16,757 miles per hour while at an altitude of more than 104 miles before the start of the second stage engine. Also on board is a high bandwidth protected communication transponder for the US Space Force. Agency report, Republic TV.
The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the national capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure. Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police. The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
Opposition leaders who are protesting at this point in time. Earlier, this was a scheduled meeting of the opposition leader. They are demanding the discussion on the Adani issue. That is something, the line which has been taken by the opposition leaders. Whereas the government is of the view, government stand is that they want the presidential speech to be happen, and after that, the discussion can happen in the 0 hour. The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the national capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure. Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop, and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house.
और ये रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन किया जाएगा जिसमें हमारी भी टीम शामिल होगी।
एक सवाल ये सर कि डॉग स्क्वाड भी इसमें हिस्सा ले रहा है, वो कितने मददगार साबित होंगे इस रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन में?
डॉग्स की स्पेशल ट्रेनिंग की जाती है, जो डेब्रिस होता है, कैविटीज़ होती हैं जहाँ पर हम आसानी से नहीं पहुँच सकते हैं, वो वहाँ पर जो है इंडिकेट करते हैं विक्टिम्स को, और इसमें हमारा जो कार्य होता है वो आसान हो जाता है।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। विद ऑनलाइन पीयूष मिश्रा, दिल्ली फॉर रिपब्लिक टीवी।
All right, so the NDRF DIG speaking to Republic and telling us about the rescue relief operations taking place in Turkey, and of course the help there being rendered by India. Remember the visuals there on your screens is the first Indian C-17 flight with more than 50 NDRF search and rescue personnel, along with specially trained dog squads, drilling machines, relief material that has reached Turkey. The second plane is yet to depart for Turkey. But yes, the rescue relief operations have been expedited. A mammoth task there for the Turkey government, the world, the global leaders, several of the countries coming together to render all possible help to Turkey. At this point, 4,000 people have lost their lives so far due to the deadly earthquake that rocked Turkey and Syria. Remember, Turkey was hit by 3 consecutive devastating earthquakes of magnitude 7.8, 7.6 and 6. Meanwhile, a team of NDRF personnel with specially trained dog squads along with necessary equipment has reached Turkey. And this, of course, in the backdrop of the relief rescue operations which are still underway to find those people who are still said to be missing, hundreds and thousands of them who are still feared to be trapped in the debris of the buildings.
NDRF DIG Mohsin Shahidi, sir, thank you for speaking to us. What is the current update and when did this team reach there, sir?
See, as we all know, 7.8 magnitude earthquake took place yesterday in southern Turkey, due to which massive casualties have taken place. There were aftershocks, a lot of displacement is there. And seeing this grim situation, the government of India has ordered deployment of 2 teams of NDRF. They are especially trained in the urban and search and rescue operations. 101 strong contingent is being moved. One contingent of 51 persons have already landed there in Turkey. They flew off at 3 o'clock this morning. They are well equipped with canines, state-of-the-art equipments, and we have also Mahila rescuers in the team.
Women rescuers are also there, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, also wanted to know how equipped our personnel are, because we have to ascertain also the situation there. What is current situation there in Turkey? How equipped are they?
We are well equipped and trained to undertake search and rescue operations in the most difficult situations. The government of India has authorized us 315 state-of-the-art equipments. These include detection and location equipments, extrication tools, power tools, and all other paraphernalia which is required to conduct an operation in a professional manner.
Has dog squad also taken part in this operation?
Yes, we have 4 canines which are part of the team.
Part of the team. How helpful they would be, sir?
They would be very helpful. The dogs are especially trained to undertake these operations, move in the cavities and the debris and the rubble, and they are very useful for us.
Sir, also have you been able to ascertain the current situation there in Turkey?
Our team has just landed, in fact, and they are undertaking appreciation. They will be getting a briefing shortly from the RDC there, which is stationed there, and after that they will be able to undertake the operation.
सर, हिंदी में हमारे दर्शकों के लिए पहली टीम जो एनडीआरएफ की वहाँ पहुँच चुकी है, क्या अपडेट है आपकी? कोई बात हुई वहाँ पर्सनल से?
हमारे पर्सनल वहाँ पहुँच चुके हैं और अभी अप्रिसिएशन किया जा रहा है. लोकल अथॉरिटीज़ जो हैं वो टीम की ब्रीफिंग कर रहे हैं, उसके बाद उनकी तैनाती की जाएगी.
All right, we'll leave it at that. And as we speak, the relief rescue operations continue at a war footing mode. Remember, the death toll has already risen to more than 4,000 people. So more than 4,000 people who have lost their lives in that earthquake that rocked not just Turkey but Syria as well. Hundreds and thousands of those people who are still said to be missing, still feared trapped in the debris. We'll continue to get you all the latest from Turkey and Syria. Slipping into a very short break for now. Amazon removes book Modi and Me from platform, cites Hindutva-themed literature as a reason. Miffed over the possibility of losing hosting a Asia Cup rights, Pak cricketer lashes out at India.
Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police. The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
Opposition leaders who are protesting at this point in time. Earlier, this was a scheduled meeting of the opposition leader. They are demanding the discussion on the Adani issue. That is something, the line which has been taken by the opposition leaders. Whereas the government is of the view, government stand is that they want the presidential speech to be happen, and after that, the discussion can happen in the 0 hour. The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the national capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
Quick roundup of news from the world of sports. Wrestlers Vinesh Fogart and Sakshi Malik, who recently staged a protest against the WFI chief and accused him of sexual exploitation and intimidation, were among 5 athletes nominated for the Indian Sportswoman of the Year award. Others who made the cut were Tokyo Olympics silver medalist weightlifter Mirabai Chanu, ace shuttler PV Sindhu and boxer Nikhat Zareen. Former captain Ian Chappell feels Rishabh Pant's presence would have given him sleepless nights to Australian captain Pat Cummins, but even that, then India would start firm from favourites in the upcoming 4-match test series beginning on Thursday. Australia T20 international captain Aaron Finch has called time on his stunning international career that included leading Australia to their first ICC Men's T20 World Cup trophy. Weightlifters on the first day of their competition on day 8 of Khelo India Youth Games for this year in MP created 2 national youth records and 1 Khelo India Youth Games record, even as Maharashtra continued to their surge at the top of the medal tally. The first ever season of Women's Premier League would be played starting 4th of March onwards, with the final scheduled for 26th of March. The football powerhouse state of Manipur would host its first official international matches starting next month in the Tri-Nation Friendly Tournament involving Myanmar and Kyrgyzstan besides the Indian teams at the stadium. Meanwhile, Essex County Cricket Club has re-signed Australian all-rounders Daniel Sams for the 2023 T20 Blast competition. A statement that read from the club said that Essex Cricket is delighted to announce that Daniel Sams has rejoined the club for the 2023 T20 Blast campaign. Slipping into a very short break, but on the other side, we'll get you the latest from the national capital as opposition remains up in arms, staging a protest at the Gandhi statue over the Adani matter.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
Opposition leaders who are protesting at this point in time. Earlier, this was a scheduled meeting of the opposition leader. They are demanding the discussion on the Adani issue. That is something, the line which has been taken by the opposition leaders. Whereas the government is of the view, government stand is that they want the presidential speech to be happen, and after that, the discussion can happen in the 0 hour. The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the national capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Congress workers are now being detained by the Jammu and Kashmir police.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from outside the Congress office, but they say that they won't stop and this is the government's failure. Despite many clarifications by the union government, the Congress seems to be in no mood of coming into the house, and that's why these massive protests are taking place here in Jammu as well.
The dramatic visuals we are getting from the Jantar Mantar of the national capital. These are the Karyakartas of Indian Youth Congress, and they have been detained now. As they were protesting over here, they were crossing the barricades at the Jantar Mantar. Now they have been detained.
Earthquake magnitude consisted of 7.4 and it lasted for 40 seconds. A lot of buildings collapsed during first 10 seconds, and situation in southwest east of Turkey complicated by the weather. It is a snowstorm now in the area.
The Congress workers, there is a scuffle between the Congress workers and the Jammu and Kashmir police. The police has stopped the Congress workers from coming. However, the police has made it amply clear they have been denied the permission to move out from
The attempt to tarnish Judge Gauri's image fails. The top court dismisses petitions. Face off over mayoral elections, the BJP takes to the streets. Aam Aadmi Party stages a counter protest. The Adani storm wanes, but opposition stages another protest, halts proceedings for a second time. Amazon removes the book Modi and Me from platform, cites Hindutva-themed literature as the reason.
मैं तो पहले भी कहते थे नहीं आता तो भाड़ में जाए, हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, हमें हमारी क्रिकेट मिल रही है। राइट, ये आईसीसी का काम है।
Miffed over the possibility of losing hosting Asia Cup rights, Pakistani cricketer Javed Miandad lashes out. The death toll mounts to more than 400 people dead in Turkey and Syria. India sends humanitarian aid. Good afternoon. You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV. I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. We go straight across to news that we are getting from Assam over the crackdown on child marriage. Now, even as the Assam government continues with its crackdown on child marriage, we are told that the AIUDF is politicizing the issue. Badruddin Ajmal has now alleged that there is a religious discrimination that's taking place, and also calling the move of the crackdown on child marriage in Assam as something that is meant to harass Muslims. Now, this is, of course, is not the first time that this has happened. We have, since the crackdown began, seen statements like this come out. Let's listen into what he said.
Last 3 months से कंटिन्यूसली हर प्रोग्राम में ये बोल रहा हूँ कि 18 साल से नीचे की बच्चियों को शादी नहीं कराना चाहिए। इसके बारे में कम से कम 3 महीना पहले से ही गवर्नमेंट भी मेरा साथ देती। गवर्नमेंट खुद चीफ मिनिस्टर सामने आते, वार्निंग देते कि भाई हम आप लोग को 3 महीने का और टाइम देते हैं, इस बीच में इसके बाद अगर कोई करेगा तो हम उसको पकड़ेंगे। तो गवर्नमेंट को क्या होता है, हमारे चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब को एक तो मीडिया में आने का बहुत शौक है। नेशनल मीडिया में अभी ये आपका रिपब्लिक ये टीवी पे बजाएगा, उनका बजा रहे, पूरे इंडिया के मीडिया ने बजा दिया, उनका चेहरा दिखा दिया, खूबसूरत चेहरा है, नौजवान है, लोग उनको बहुत पसंद करते हैं, उनको मोदी जी भी पसंद करते हैं उनका।
मुझे कुछ विषयों पर स्थगन प्रस्ताव की सूचनाएं प्राप्त हुई है। मैंने स्थगन प्रस्ताव की किसी सूचना के लिए अनुमति प्रदान नहीं की गई है। सभा पटल पर रखे जाने वाले पत्र आइटम नंबर 2 साध्वी निरंजन ज्योति।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं अपने वरिष्ठ सहयोगी श्री गिरिराज सिंह ग्रामीण विकास मंत्री श्री की ओर से आज की संशोधित कार्यसूची में क्रम संख्या 2 पर उनके नाम के सामने उल्लिखित ग्रामीण विकास मंत्रालय की वर्ष 2023-24 की अनुदान मांगों की प्रस्तुति, विस्तृत मांगों की हिंदी तथा अंग्रेजी की एक प्रति सदन के पटल पर प्रस्तुत करती हूँ।
आइटम नंबर 3 श्री अर्जुन राम मेघवाल।
Honorable Speaker, sir, with your kind permission, I rise to lay the papers on the table of the House mentioned against my name at serial number 3 in the today's revised list of the business of Lok Sabha. Thank you.
Item number 4, Sri Krishnapal.
आदरणीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, आपके अनुमति से आज की संशोधित कार्यसूची में क्रम संख्या 4 पर
मेरे नाम के सामने सूचीबद्ध दस्तावेजों को सदन के पटल पर।
आइटम नंबर 5 साध्वी निरंजन ज्योति।
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आज की संशोधित कार्यसूची में क्रम संख्या 5 पर मेरे नाम के सामने उल्लिखित दस्तावेज सदन के पटल पर प्रस्तुत करती हूँ।
आइटम नंबर 6 संजीव कुमार बलियान। माननीय मंत्री जी को बताया करो कि वह सभा पटल पर रखना है। संजीव कुमार बलियान नो उपस्थित। अर्जुन मेघवाल जी।
धन्यवाद अध्यक्ष जी। मैं आपकी अनुमति से आज की लोकसभा आज की कार्यसूची के क्रम संख्या 6 पर जो संजीव कुमार बालियान जी के नाम के आगे अंकित दस्तावेज है वो आपकी अनुमति से सदन के पटल पर रखता हूं। थैंक यू।
आइटम नंबर 7 श्री नित्यानंद राय।
महोदय, मैं आप आज की पुनरीक्षित कार्यसूची में क्रम संख्या 7 पर मेरे नाम के सम्मुख उल्लेखित दस्तावेज पटल पे रखता हूं।
आइटम नंबर 8 सुश्री शोभा कारंदजे।
Sir, I lay the papers shown at serial number 8 of the revised list of business in the Lok Sabha for today on the table of the House.
आइटम नंबर 9 श्री कैलाश चौधरी।
माननीय अध्यक्ष